Hello folks, welcome back to the Italian Gardener channel. We got ourselves a wonderful spring day here. It's a little windy. It's a little on the sunny side, a little on the cloudy side at the same time. But we're gonna do here is some seed starting. I have some seeds. I'm gonna start in some cells. I'm gonna show you a few different things. I'm gonna show you how to screen some compost, what I use to screen compost, and make a seed starting mix out of my just general compost that I already make and already plant in my kind of planting mix. We're going to seed some carrots today. We're going to do some all sorts of things, kind of the cool weather crops. We're right on the last call for all of our cold weather crops, getting them started or getting them direct sown. So we want to do that now. If we don't do it now, then you're going to basically push into the hot season, and your hot season crops are then going to kind of conflict with those seasonal cooler weather crops. So we'll go through planting some of those. I'll seed some in the seed tray. We'll seed some direct. So let's go through that and let's get started. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay up to date on all things gardening. First thing I'm going to show you guys is the seed mix here. So I'm using roughly a similar mix, about 50% 50% sphagnum peat moss. There's probably about 20% coco coir, and then there's a little bit of horse manure in here, just to give it some added nutrition. It's pretty well rotted horse manure. It's been rotting for several years, but we're gonna give this a little bit of a shake. And this is a 1-inch screen mesh here, and this is actually a device used to screen gravel for gold mining. I can actually link the pan for you if you guys want one of these. It goes right over a 5-gallon bucket or a 3-gallon bucket. It's made by Keen Engineering, and it's actually one of the best things that I use it for gardening and when I'm ever wanting to be at the riverbank doing a little bit of gold prospecting. But you can shake your bucket back and forth, shake your bucket. And I use the same mix for planting out big plants and then also seed starting. So this is just a good all around. And so that I do screen and sift it. But so we'll put that aside. That's all the big stuff. And then you're left with this light, fluffy, very fine stuff. You get a little bit of perlite in there, but you get a lot of just nice, fine peat moss. And so now you can plant with that and use that to seed. We're going to do some jewel nasturtiums. Now, nasturtiums have kind of a big seed. So you want to plant your seed down proportionate to the kind of depth or the largeness of the seeds. And nasturtiums you want to plant a little on the deeper side. I'm going to put 2 per cell in here. So, and I think we're going to probably do just 1 row of those. I do love nasturtiums, but heck, why don't we do 1.5 rows? That sounds good to me. We'll stick them in a spot next to some cucumbers. Nasturtiums are great for planting next to your cucurbits. They help kind of distract and also repel some pests, squash bugs as well. They do well next to squash. So those are our nasturtiums. So why don't we get our little bit of seed mix here from our bucket, and we will just dust over the top of those our seed starting screened mix that we have prepared. Is the pineapple tomatillo, which is such an interesting variety. I don't think it's going to taste like pineapple, but I think that it looks like kind of like pineapple, so they named it that. But we'll have to see what they taste like. I already have some green tomatillos that are about 8 weeks old now, so they're really quite big. And so these will be a little bit behind, but it's fine. So we'll seed these with these guys. We'll probably do maybe 4 cells of this. Now, nasturtium seeds are pretty big. Tomatillo seeds are not. And so oops, sorry, I bumped the camera there. I actually want to add a little bit of extra mix in here and not plant these super deep, because if you plant them super deep, you're going to have problems with germination. So tomatillas, as people maybe in the South might say, very tiny seeds. So I'm going to plant about 4. Oh, and I don't want them flying and spilling everywhere. I'm going to plant about 3 to 4 per cell. Overseeding is always good. Overseed, overseed, overseed. I'm a big proponent of it, because I feel like if you don't overseed, even if the germination, which haven't had a problem this year with germination of the My Gardener seed, you might end up with no seeds, no plants sprouting if you don't overseed. So tomatillos, tiny seeds. You want to plant them almost damn near on the surface. You want to plant them pretty close. You don't want to plant them super deep. So I'm going to tamp those down, and then we're going to label those as well. I'll save you the time, and I'll cut that out. Planting with lettuce, because it is a cooler season crop. We planted all those. We're going to plant some lettuce. We're going to do about four trays worth of lettuce. And lettuce is the same as the really is the same as the tomatillos. Very small seed. Very small seed. So you want to make sure and just have them pretty much right on the surface. And we're gonna let's do a row and a half of lettuce. Lettuce tends to go pretty quick in our house. So, and there's the lettuce seed right there, really small. You're gonna want to be careful with those. I didn't use all of them, so we'll put the rest of them back in the package here. Scoop them all up. Put them in the package. And then we're going to cover our lettuce seeds with a light sprinkling of soil there. Tamp them down, get nice contact. All right, now we're going to label another request by my mother that she wanted to try doing some red sauerkraut this year. And so we're going to do some sauerkraut. Now there are the cabbage seeds right there, fairly big, not super big. So we're going to plant them at the same depth. I'm going to do about 3 seeds per tray here, about 3 to 4, to make sure we got good germination. Typically with brassicas, you get pretty good germination overall. All right, and then we're going to do 1 row of them. So the last 2 rows we're going to do with the cabbage, and then up next we got, this is technically a warm season crop that I'm going to be seeding. This actually would probably germinate like just landing on the ground. I've had it happen before. So we're going to plant about 3 to 4, maybe a few more than that in there of the dill. And then we're going to put those back in the cell in the packet so that they don't get completely lost and blow away. And let's get our seeds covered so they don't blow away. Cover all those up nice and good, and spread out and tamp it down. Flowers like zinnias, petunias, nasturtiums, as we have planted over here, are all plants that you're going to want to get out right now. This is kind of the last call for them, or the beginning of the call for them, depending on the plant. But those are all good ones to sow right now. Up front over here, so we're going to do right at the back, right on this back side, we're going to do a line of carrots. It's going to go down, and you just want to do a very light, very small trench. You don't want to do too big. And I'm going to go all the way down that line there on the very back, because carrots, we use a lot of them in our house. So we're going to do atomic red, and we're going to do a small furrow for them to grow in here. And we're just going to sprinkle them along so that we have kind of a staggered germination of them. Overseeding again, so that's kind of a common theme. This year. really the theme every year, to be honest. It's something that I'm constantly doing, is overseeding. These black nebulas, though, make it a lot easier to plant because the seed is so big. It's a lot bigger of a seed than I was anticipating them to be. All right, well, that pretty much does it for those. And actually, it's almost does it for the black nebula in terms of their seeds. They're almost all gone. So what I'm going to do, since carrots are really small plants and they are very delicate when it comes to germinating, and they do not like poking through things too much or sticks and stuff in the way, I'm just going to take some seedling starting mix, and I'm just going to dust it over the seed instead of recovering back up the trench. That way, any debris in the bed mix, like sticks, won't get in the way, and these will have a very easy time to come up. Big deep bed. I think I'm going to plant a little section of peas. So we're going to do some Blizzard Snap peas, and I have this chain link fence here that these can climb up. But also I'll put some stakes in, and those will act as areas for them to climb as well. Now I have a seedling of kale there and kale there. So those are right there in that part of the bed. So I'm thinking that this section here of the bed, I'm going to plant some peas. So with peas, they're really easy to plant. I'm going to plant probably 3 peas in a row like that. And I'm going to space them about roughly 10 to 8 inches apart. And I'm just going to kind of put them in planting like that. And so we're going to be working with about like 2 square feet here of planting peas. So I did about 3 peas per. And we can overseed a little bit on these. Do 2 per planting, and if we need to, we can thin. Peas are pretty good though at growing in groups. They'll still produce really well when you plant them in groups there, and tamp them down, put some soil over them, and those will be up in a couple days here. Plugs here, some broccoli plugs, and so with broccoli, I'm going to plant one right here. We've had some problems with some slugs really going after these, but we're getting to the point where we still might have some light frosts, but these broccoli plants should be able to winter through a lot of that. And so we're going to give about roughly a foot per broccoli plant per broccoli, and we're going to give them some space there. There's one. So most of these have 2. This one has 1. Let's plant this one out right here. We're going to give it. Some people like to plant them a little bit further away from each other, take the seed leaves off there. I haven't had any problem with cabbage root fly or anything like that around here, so I'm not super worried about putting a ton of protection on them. So we're just going to plant them out, and we'll see how they do. I have a ton of extra starts, so if these get hit by frost and they don't make it, it's not a big. That's nice about overseeding is that it might benefit you a little bit to overseed. And we have a little space here in front of them that will be shaded out later in the year, but pretty close to when I pull the broccoli out is when that's going to be shaded. So we're just going to let this chamomile grow up, and then we might plant something right in the middle, depending on how much chamomile actually germinates. But we're going to have some rain here in the next probably day, and so I'll lightly water these in, but these will get watered in again by some rain as well. One thing I wanted to touch on, guys, is a good time to get out right now is your cilantro. Cilantro should be planted definitely well before frost. But a trick with cilantro that I've learned is the cilantro seeds themselves. I'm gonna scatter those over there and plant them here in a second. But the cilantro seeds themselves, just to show you, are these round little balls, right? And actually, people don't realize that the seeds are inside of a seed coat. And so smashing them with your finger will actually crack that seed coat and help with germination. So you can speed up germination by a couple days by just rolling them around, the cilantro around in your fingers, and kind of breaking them up and getting that seed coat out. And so now you have some seeds that are going to germinate in those broken up pieces of cilantro there. All right, guys, that's the end of the video here. Thank you for tuning in. I had to wait to film this end part because I ran out of time in the day, had to do some other stuff, and it got a little bit rainy that day. Now it's nice and sunny now. We have a couple days of sun here, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm almost being blinded by my greenhouse right now. There's so much sun coming in at me, but a beautiful day here. As you can see behind me, there's a flat, and then there's one right in front of the camera, and over to the right. I'm hardening off some of my vegetables right now, specifically onions. So that's something as well, just to mention in this video. Or maybe I'll make a whole nother video about, I'm going to make at least a short about hardening off. But you're going to want to harden off your plants right now, especially onions. Onions need to go out. They're another one of those crops that you're going to want to plant right now, or pretty much get in the ground about first part of April if you're in my zone. So remember that. But I'm just going to sign off here. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, love what you grow and grow what you love. Take care.